Shalom to my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahushua HaMashiach. And I'm bringing you a word today. This will be very quick, but this is something that has been stirred up my spirit, and the Most High brought to my attention. I want to share with all of y'all. So therefore, if you can go and research and do a further study on this. And the word is the seven churches of Asia. I'm sorry, my tongue getting twisted. The seven churches of Asia. Now, I know among some of my brothers and sisters in the body of Christ thought that Asia was referring to Japan or China. However, according from studying the word, it's not talking about those two countries. It's actually talking about Turkey, where those seven churches was established during the time of the apostles um, preaching the gospel to all nations. Okay, so when you have some spare time, I would like for you to sorry about that. I would like for you to read Revelations chapter 1 and Revelations chapter 2. For I believe there's a word in those two chapters definitely that you need to look at in these end times prophecies. So just a quick review. What are the seven churches? And they are Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, which is modern day Pergamos, and that is the location of the seat of Satan. Thyatira, Sardis, and Sardis is the capital of ancient kingdom of Lydia, and also it's one of the important cities of the Persian empires, and it's also the metropolis of the province Lydia in the later times of the Roman and Byzantine empires. The sixth church is Philadelphia, and the seventh church is Laodicea. I'm sorry, Laodicea, and that is the chief city of Phrygia. I'm not going to try to say that word, but I'm going to spell it to you. It's capital Pacaciana, and it does have another spelling, and I believe it's spelled with a T instead of a C that follows behind the A. But it means Asia Prima, which basically is saying that this chief city was the first province of Asia. And now Asia do have many different names. We all know that modern day Turkey is Asia, and Phrygia is Asia as well. And the reason why it was named Asia Prima because during that time there was two provinces of Asia or Turkey. Now that church was built near the river Lycus, and it is near Denizli. Sorry, my tongue get twisted. Okay, so just a quick review about the word Asia. So we know Asia in the Bible is Asia Minor, or Phrygia, or Anatolia, or Turkey, which is modern day Turkey today that we see. And for further study, I highly recommend that you read the book of Acts, because you will see these churches' name come up again. Also in this second Esdras, first and second Corinthians, Ephesus, Colossians, and first and second Timothy, as well as the book of Revelation. Now these churches exist during the time of the ancient Roman Empire, and again they were located in the Roman province, and that province was called Asia during that time, which is today is Turkey. Then later on, when the Byzantine Empire, and remember the Byzantine Empire came out of the Roman Empire, it's from the same people, my people. So the Byzantine Empire called Asia Phrygia, so that's where that word came from. And again, this is a reminder that the Roman and the Byzantine Empire are a part of Esau Kingdom, as prophesied in 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Sorry about that. Ezra chapter Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 7 through 9. And if you don't understand who is Esau or how his kingdom is playing a part in these end time prophecies, I highly recommend that you watch my playlist on Esau and Edom, who they are, and definitely watch the video that really gets straight to the point. Esau and Edom, they can be found today in his dwellings. So I highly recommend that you look at that as well. So Asia, which is modern day Turkey, was the center of Roman and Hellenistic culture. And we know that Hellenistic culture came from the Greeks. And this was the center of both of them for many centuries. And later, Asia became a part of the Byzantine Empire until the end of the 13th century. Now, during that time, the Bible talks about Asia, which is Turkey, was a place where they worshiped other gods and the ancient Roman emperors, and they built temples. And there was a place where they established their religious practices, which can be confirmed by the book of Acts as well by the other books of the New Testament. So you're probably thinking, what's the point of studying about these seven churches? Because from reading 2nd Ezra chapter 15, which we will read after this slide here, will confirm what is going on to give you more insight and more understanding of these end times. Now today, Iran wants Turkey back from the European nations. And that's what really got my attention. I said, whoa, what's going on here? Why did they want Turkey back? And I know Turkey is a country where the seat of Satan is, okay? So when I began to do my study about Iran, I learned that that Iran is the country where the Carmanian is. And another name for them are Carman or Persians or the sons of Elam or Elamites. And the son of Elam was the son of Shem. And that can be found in Genesis chapter 10, verse 22. And another name for them are with the can be with the Carmanians, and spelled with a K as well. So according to 2nd Ezra chapter 15, that they would join forces with the nations of the dragons of Arabia. And both of those groups would destroy a portion of the land of the Assyrians, which is Syria today. Okay? So this is why it's very important to understand these seven churches and to understand they are located in modern Turkey today, and to look at what group of people are inhabiting those cities in that country. Also, we notice a great persecution that's going on with the Christians over there too. Okay? So that's why it's important to read Revelation chapter 1 and chapter 2, because we can see that stuff coming to pass now. Also, FYI, from studying, I learned that Lud is dealing with the son of Shem, and Lud represents the Lydians or Lydia. And it's very important not to get the two confused, because it's very easy to do. Now, you're going to find them in the country of Turkey, also in the city of Sardis. Now, in my Bible dictionary, which is a Wycliffe Bible dictionary, I found that they can also be in Lovdai, and that is located, it lies between Upper Tigris and the Euphrates River. It makes sense because that's where the son of Shem mostly dwell. And the verses you can read to confirm what I'm telling you about Lud and who they are, it can be found in Genesis chapter 10, verse 22, 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verse 17, the works of Josephus, Antiquities, book 1, chapter 6, section 4. And then Ezekiel chapter 27, verse 10 and 30, verse 5, Jeremiah chapter 46, verse 9, Isaiah chapter 66, verse 19, and Judith chapter 2, verse 23. Okay. Understanding who Lud is very important because they will play a part in the end times prophecy, especially when you read a book of Ezekiel chapter 38 and chapter 39, because it ties into Revelation chapter 20. Now, to understand who is Phut, okay, and it has different spellings in the Bible. You'll find it as Pul, P-U-L, then Phut, P-U-T, or Phut, P-H-U-T, or Pud, P-H-U-D. And they are dwelling in the country of Africa. And then, now these are the sons of Ladim, who is the son of Ham. So these are your these are your Libyans, or they from the country of Libya. My tongue getting twisted. I do apologize. And this country lies besides Egypt and North Africa. It makes more sense because they are the allies to Egypt. And again, they have a part 2 in the end time prophecies with the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 39. Also, you can find this in Genesis chapter 10 verse 13, 1 Chronicles chapter 1 verse 11, Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 5, Jeremiah chapter 46 verse 9, and Ezekiel chapter 27 verse 10, 30 verse 5, 38 verse 5, and Judith chapter 2 verse 23. So you will see Phut and Lud go hand in hand. Lud don't vary too much when I see written in the scriptures, but Phut will with the spelling. So those are those two groups of people that will play their part in this great war that's coming in the end times. So let us now go to, I do want to show you this picture, if I can blow it up. So can I blow it up for you? Okay, here we go. Let me see, can I minimize it now? So this is what, give you an idea where the 7 churches are located in Turkey. And for those who follow me on Facebook, I do have a post for this and you can review for further study. For those who are not on Facebook, you can go to wikipedia.com, type in the 7 churches of Asia, and you can pull this up to review for further study. But let's go to the most important part of this word for today, and that's in 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And I'm reading from the King James 1611 Bible. Now, I'm not going to read this whole chapter. It is a long chapter, but I'm just going to read the most important piece so it can catch your attention, so you can do a study on this. Because I do find that the 2nd Ezra, the whole book, relates to Revelation and the book of Daniel. It relates to the end time prophecies to give you more understanding. So let me first start with the Bible summary, chapter 15. This prophecy is certain. Yahuwah will take vengeance upon the wicked, upon Egypt, and horrible vision. Babylon and Asia are threatened. So keep in mind, when he mentioned Babylon in this chapter, it's talking about Turkey, okay? It's not talking about Japan or China from what I have so far researched and studied. And that's very important to know. Also, when you review those videos about who is Esau and to understand about his kingdom, you will also know that he is and his descendants are the daughter of Babylon. Okay, for they do not worship the Most High. That kingdom exalt themselves above the Most High. They are truly the hypocrites of His word. And through those videos, it will give you more understanding about Esau on that part. But let us read verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahuwah, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith Yahuwah, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. 4. Wickedness, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith Yahuwah, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely committed, neither would I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous cry unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore saith Yahuwah, I will certainly avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahuwah shall bring upon it. So we know today Egypt is America, for America is the daughter of Babylon. America is Mystery Babylon, and America is one of the countries where Edom dwell in. And it also confirmed Jeremiah chapter 18, verses 14 to 21. For America is one of the countries of the north. It is located in the northern hemisphere of the earth, my people. For this is why we see a pyramid on the dollar bill. And we also see the eagle on the dollar bill, which is the inside of Esau kingdom. Let us keep reading verse 13. They that till the ground shall mourn. Just want to make sure I'm at the right place. Verse 13. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor prince, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Behold, saith Yahuwah, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanus, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also in recompense in their bosom. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim. So as you can see, my father is very upset of how the Gentiles are treating the children of Israel. And the children of Israel are the Negroes, my people. For we were brought captives into their lands and made to be slaves. And even to this day, we are still afflicted and oppressed by them. Verse 22. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon earth. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and hath consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith Yahuwah. Let me read that again. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith Yahuwah. For those who only read the New Testament and do not study the whole volume of the book, how do you know what is sin? How do you know what his commandments are? How will you know what is holy? How will you know what is unholy? How will you know what is clean and unclean? How will you know what is profane and not profane, my people? Do you see why you need to know the whole book and read and study? Then, when you read it, you will know what Yahushua covers. But there's a great mystery behind what he covers, for we now operate in the spiritual. But let us keep reading. Verse 25. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary. For Yahuwah knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore deliver he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For Yahuwah shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. So plagues is going to come to the whole earth, my people, because of the sins. Verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all that which hear them may fear and tremble. And we can see my brother Ishmael is rising up, my people. They are rising up, and they will fulfill their part in the end times prophecies. Yes, the nations of the dragons of Arabia, they're coming out. Verse 30. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and draw battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So we know the Carmanians are your Iranians in the land of Iran, my people, today. We know the Assyrians are dealing with the land of Syria, my people. And the Iranians going to join forces with the nations of the dragons of Arabia, which are my brother Ishmael, who are the Arabs. Do you see how this is coming to pass? There's an article talks about how Iran wants Turkey back from the European nation, my people. And they too are trying to work things out. But it's something going on with Syria that concerns the both of them. I highly recommend that you check out the news to see what's going on, because this is a part of the prophecy that Esdras is talking about from verses 29 through 30. But let us keep reading. Verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them. And in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. So I will end there at verse 33, my people. But I do highly recommend that you read not only chapter 15 and 16, and in your spare time, read the whole book of 2nd Esdras to understand these end time prophecies that are mentioned in the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel, as well as the book of Ezekiel. But the most important thing that you can see that's going on now, my people, Esau's kingdom is ending, and the kingdom of Jacob is coming in, as written in 2nd Esdras chapter 6, verse 7 through 9. And the only way you can enter in this kingdom, which is the kingdom of Yahuwah, which is the eternal kingdom, you have to what? Be born again. So you have to receive salvation and be baptized in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. And we all, brothers and sisters in the body of Yahushua HaMashiach, must preach the gospel of the kingdom of heaven is at hand to all nations. For judgment is coming to all. I don't care if you are Israelite, Edomite, or Gentile. Judgment is coming, my people. My father is tired. He gave everyone enough space of time to repent. And now he's sending his son back to carry out his judgment in the earth. So, my people, spread this word out. Spread this truth out while ye have time. For we do not want any soul to be lost and to be cast into the eternal lake of fire on that final day of judgment. when our Holy Father Yahuwah bring the new Jerusalem, the whole of Jerusalem. So I will end with this word today, and you have a blessed day, my people. Shalom.